One of the great things about Dreamweaver is its open architecture. Many components of Dreamweaver are customizable. In our last video, we examined the coding toolbar. Now let's take a look at customizing that toolbar by either adding to it or subtracting from its feature set. So to do that, we're going to go out to our hard drive. So if you're on a Mac, we'll just go ahead and hide Dreamweaver real quick, and we'll go into our applications directory. And you'll find Adobe, although here on the Mac, we're going to go into Adobe Dreamweaver CS-3. And we're going to go into the configuration file. So once you actually get into it, it's the same path. So once you get into the configuration file, you'll scroll down and you'll find toolbars. So we want to open up toolbars. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is that inside here, we have a couple of different XML files. And this is, again, telling us a little bit about the customizable nature of Dreamweaver. The fact that a lot of the menu items and a lot of the structure of the program is actually just stored in an XML file. So if you understand XML, you can open these files up and you can customize them and maybe add some features that aren't in there in the default install. Now, we're about to modify a file that is crucial to Dreamweaver's interface. Without the toolbars file, we don't get many of the toolbars that we come to expect. So before you modify any type of file like this, it's a really good idea to go ahead and make a backup. That way, you've got a file that you can restore without having to reinstall the software, which is always good. So I'm going to go ahead and select the toolbars XML file and just copy that, which is Command-C and Control-C on the PC. And I need to go ahead and create a new folder someplace. And I would recommend that you have a central location for all the backup files that you're going to create. And where you put it is kind of a personal choice. I'm going to go ahead and put mine in my documents here. And I'll go ahead and create a new folder inside of this. And I'll just call it Dreamweaver Backups. And inside this folder, I'll go ahead and paste my file. And again, on the PC, you can right-click and choose Paste, or you can even just drag and drop it over once you have both windows open. That would be fine. So there's our backup, and we know that if anything goes wrong with our new toolbars file, we can just drag this one over, or copy this one over, and replace our modified one, and we'll be back to normal. So we'll go ahead and close that. Now we can go back in and open up our toolbars file and modify it. When we try to open this, go ahead and double click on it to open this up. You'll see that we get a message that says that the file is locked and we can view it, but we can't change it. Well, we really want to be able to view this and change it both. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. Now, on a PC, you're probably not going to have that problem, but on a Mac, this is locked down as a system file. So I'm going to go back to the folder, select the file, and we'll just do a get info, which is Command-I. And you'll see that down in my ownerships and permissions, when I look at details, it's a system file. And so I can't take ownership of that. So the first thing I have to do is I have to unlock it, and I'll give myself ownership over the file. And I'll have to type in my super secret password there. And now I'm going to say that I can both read and write this file, not just read only. So that should do the trick. So we'll go ahead and get rid of our Get Info dialog box. And now I can open the file up simply by double clicking it because Dreamweaver has set itself to be the default editor for XML files. So when I double click that, it opens up in Dreamweaver. If you find yours opening up in another application, you can just go in and modify it so that Dreamweaver is the default opener of that particular file type. Well, one of the first things that we see when we open this file is that there are more toolbars in here than just the coding toolbar. Obviously, that's the one we're interested in, but you can see right up top, right here on line number 4, it's commenting out telling us that what we're looking at now is the main toolbar. And each one of these items in the toolbar is simply another tag. So we're going to scroll down until we find the code toolbar, and it's a little further down. So you're probably going to have to scroll a good bit to get down to it. We've got to go past the standard toolbar and a lot of those other toolbars. There's the browser nav toolbar. So we keep going down. Here we go. So we're on about line 352, and there's our code view toolbar. Well, the use of the comments is actually very important because any object that's not commented is going to show up in your toolbar. If you look at my screen right now, I'm at 1024 by 768 in terms of my resolution. So I don't really have a lot of space. If you look at the left-hand side where my code toolbar is, going down to the bottom of that, we really don't have a lot of space right now for other icons to show up here. So one of the things I can do is I can also turn off some of the existing ones. So as I go through here, I can actually see exactly which of these elements I'm looking at. Look at the first item. It says menu button, ID equals DW Open Documents. If we look over at our code toolbar on the left-hand side, the very, very top of it, right there, I hover over that, it says Open Documents. So it's pretty easy if you hover over these and see the tooltip. It's really easy for you to correlate between what you're looking at and what the object is. Well, I don't really need that because that one allows me to flip through open documents. And the way that I've got my Dreamweaver preferences set up, I actually get multiple tabs up top that are just as easy to click on. So I'm going to save myself a little bit of screen real estate, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight that menu button tag. Now make sure you get the whole tag, including the self-closing bit right down here at the end. We're actually going to take advantage of the coding toolbar to modify the coding toolbar. If we look over again on the left-hand side, about halfway down, you're going to see two little items that look like cartoon word blocks. And that allows us to apply comments and to take comments away, remove them. So we're going to actually comment this out by clicking on the apply comment. Now we get a lot of different flavors here. You've got your HTML, you've got your JavaScript, your PHP, ASP. So a lot of different flavors. And what we're going to do is we're just going to apply an HTML comment. So select it and release. And when you do that, you can see that everything that you had highlighted is now surrounded by an HTML comment tag. Now that means that the next time this XML toolbars file is accessed, that won't be read in and that one will not show up. So let's go down and take a look at some of the ones that are commented out by default. The fine folks at Adobe, as they were working on the latest release of Dreamweaver, they made a bunch of these features, these little icons that would do things for us, and they noticed that they really didn't all fit on smaller monitor sizes. So they kind of took some of them that they didn't think people were going to use quite as much, and they just commented them out. So the one that I'm looking at right now on line 411 is actually the DW go to line. Now, believe it or not, I actually use this one a good bit because I'll reference code that I've worked on earlier, and I'll know, for example, that a certain function is on line 163 or something of that nature. And rather than having to scroll down to it, I can simply click that icon, type in the line I'm looking for, and I'll navigate directly to that. So I like that functionality. I'm going to turn that back on. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight. Now, you'll notice that last time we did this, we highlighted just the tag. And you could do that, but you want to make sure that you get everything. So I'm going to highlight everything, including the comment that's around it. Now, instead of having to manually strip that comment out, I can simply go right over here to the code toolbar, and the little word balloon that has the X in it, we can go ahead and click that and choose Remove Comment. There it goes, strips that out. You can see that it's active again. And now we'll save our file. So let's go up to File and just save that. Once you've saved the toolbar file, Dreamweaver actually accesses that file every single time it opens. So we are not really going to see a change yet. So let's go ahead and quit Dreamweaver. And what we'll need to do now is we'll just need to reopen it. And it's easy enough just to open up the toolbar's XML file again, double click on it, and that'll launch Dreamweaver for us. There we go. So we've got that open now. And let's take a look at our code toolbar now. If you'll notice at the very top of it here at the left-hand side, we don't see the open file dialog box. And if we look down here about midway down, we can see that we have our new little icon, go to line. And if I click on that, I can type in 352. And that jumps right down to our code view toolbar, and we could go in and we could do any type of further manipulation that we needed to do. Notice that the DW Open Documents item is commented out still, and it's going to be that way until we change it again. And that's the great thing about it. If you don't like the current setup that you have, you can go in, examine it, and change it. So it's very, very flexible. So one of the things I would like to encourage you to do is to take some time to really examine these tools and see how they can speed up your coding. In our next video, we'll examine code snippets, code hinting, and quickly selecting tags in your file, both in code view and in design view.